Plant once, harvest for 10 generations. It sounds unbelievable, but the 10 food-producing plants I am about to share can actually live up to 300 years. If you want to save time, reduce costs, and build a legacy food source for your family, this is the video for you. By planting them today, you are setting up a self-sustaining system that can last for 3 centuries. Do not miss plant number 7, as it might completely change the way you think about gardening. Mulberry, the grocery-proof superfood. Mulberries are the ultimate rebel fruit of the homestead. You will almost never find these in a supermarket because they are far too delicate to survive a supply chain. They bruise if you even look at them wrong, which is exactly why they are a goldmine for your backyard. While the world relies on sturdy, tasteless commercial fruit, you will be harvesting a forgotten superfood that is incredibly sweet and nutrient-dense. A single mature tree can drop 50 to 80 pounds of berries every summer. They offer the fastest return on investment in the tree world, often fruiting within 3 to 5 years, while an apple tree might make you wait a decade. Best of all, they are bulletproof. Whether it is poor soil, intense drought, or complete neglect, the mulberry simply does not care. It grows fast and requires zero pruning or pest control. In parts of Central Asia, dried mulberries are still a winter staple, packing nearly 10% protein, which is an exceptional feat for any fruit. It is the lazy tree that keeps on giving for 50-plus years. Hazelnut, the shelf-stable powerhouse. While most fruit trees provide sugar and water, the hazelnut offers something far more valuable for long-term survival: caloric density. In a world where fat and protein are the hardest nutrients to secure, these trees are like nature's own energy batteries. A single pound of hazelnuts packs approximately 2,800 calories. When you do the math, a mature tree producing 30 pounds of nuts is essentially providing 84,000 calories on your doorstep every single year. Hazelnuts are incredibly resilient, thriving in temperate climates and tolerating varied soil conditions. They are the early birds of the nut world, often producing within 3 to 4 years of planting. The true magic, however, is in their storage life. These nuts remain shelf-stable in their shells for over a year without any refrigeration. Historically, they saved European communities during grain failures, providing the essential fats needed to survive harsh winters. I know it can feel overwhelming to think about food security, but planting just 2 different varieties for cross-pollination is a simple step that changes everything. You are not just gardening. You are building a safety net. If you are ready to start your legacy, just comment "ready" below so I know we are on this journey together. Fig trees, the ancient symbol of abundance. Figs have been the backbone of food security for thousands of years, appearing in almost every ancient text as a symbol of prosperity. There is a very practical reason for this. Fig trees are outrageously productive and virtually indestructible. A single mature tree can yield 100 to 200 pounds of fruit annually, thriving in rocky soil and intense heat where other trees shrivel. Think about that one neighbor or grandparent who always seemed to have a bowl of fruit on the table, no matter how dry the summer was or how high prices rose at the store. Usually, it was because of a gnarled old fig tree in the corner of the yard that everyone ignored until it was time to eat. While others were worrying about the cost of snacks, they were drying figs for the winter, which are nature's original granola bar. The real survival value is in the dried fruit. At 200 calories per pound, dried figs provide the minerals and energy needed to keep a family going when the pantry runs thin. They are incredibly fast to produce, often fruiting within 2 to 3 years. If you feel like you are behind on your goals, the fig tree is the fastest way to catch up. It is a low-maintenance legacy that you can start today from a simple cutting. Apple trees, the northern survival staple. While tropical fruits get all the hype, there is one humble giant that has saved more lives during cold winters than any other tree in history. Apples are so common that we often underestimate their sheer power as a massive food production system. Once mature, a single productive tree can yield a staggering 200 to 400 pounds of fruit annually. The true survival value of the apple lies in its long-term storage and incredible versatility. Before modern grocery stores existed, apples were the primary source of nutrition and vitamin C throughout the harsh winter months. When stored in cool, dark conditions, certain apple varieties can stay fresh for 3 to 6 months. If you dry them, they last over a year. If you ferment them into cider, they can be stored indefinitely. While they require a bit of patience, taking 6 to 10 years to reach full production, and usually need a second variety nearby for cross-pollination, the investment is unbeatable. A family with just 4 mature trees can harvest nearly 800 pounds of food every year. This is a reliable, cold, hardy legacy that will provide food security for 50 to 80 years with minimal intervention. If you want to stop being dependent on fragile food systems and start building a productive legacy for your family, make sure to subscribe to this channel. I am sharing the exact blueprints for long-term self-sufficiency that most people have forgotten. The persimmon, the candy tree of survival. The persimmon is often called the God fruit for a reason. It is one of the few trees that provides a massive burst of sugar and energy exactly when the rest of nature is shutting down. As other food sources vanish in late autumn and early winter, the persimmon stands heavy with bright orange fruit, often holding on to its crop even after the first snow. A single mature tree can produce up to 150 to 300 pounds of fruit annually, turning your backyard into a seasonal gold mine of vitamins A and C. What sets the persimmon apart in a survival scenario is its effortless preservation. These fruits are incredibly high in natural sugars. When dried, they develop a white, sugary coating and a texture like a chewy date, lasting for over a year without any chemical additives. Historically, soldiers and travelers carried dried persimmons as a lightweight, high-energy ration that would not spoil. They are remarkably hardy, resisting most pests and diseases that plague other fruit trees. While they take about 4 to 6 years to fruit, they are a low-maintenance, set-and-forget investment. By planting a persimmon, you are securing a reliable source of sweetness and survival energy that arrives every year like clockwork, right when you need it most. Chestnut trees, the bread that grows on branches. For centuries, the chestnut was known as the bread tree across Europe and Asia because it does something no other nut tree can. It produces grain-like nutrition on a massive scale. Unlike most nuts that are high in fat, chestnuts are unique because they are loaded with complex carbohydrates. A mature tree can yield 200 to 400 pounds of starchy, filling nuts that are essentially potatoes in a shell hanging from a branch. The survival value here is unmatched for a long-term calorie source. You can roast them, boil them, or most importantly, grind them into a gluten-free flour that stores for months. In mountain communities where wheat struggled to grow, chestnut forests kept people alive during every major famine in history. While they take 5 to 7 years to start producing, you are planting a 300-year legacy. With modern, blight-resistant varieties, this bread tree is the ultimate insurance policy for your family's food security. If you are finding value in learning how to build a food legacy that lasts centuries, hit the like button right now. It helps this information reach more people who are tired of being dependent on the grocery store. Carob trees, the drought-proof chocolate pods. As I mentioned at the very beginning, there is one tree that produces hundreds of pounds of chocolate-flavored pods every year. And this is it. The carob tree is a survivalist's dream. thriving in extreme heat and rocky soils that would kill almost any other fruit tree. While everyone else is struggling to keep their gardens alive during a drought, the carob is busy producing 200 to 400 pounds of naturally sweet pods that can be eaten raw or ground into a delicious cocoa substitute. The reason this tree is truly special is its incredible shelf life. Carob pods are naturally low in moisture, meaning they can store for 2 to 3 years in a cool, dry place with zero processing or expensive equipment. They are 50% natural sugar, providing immediate energy when you need it most. Historically, these pods were used as emergency rations during long sieges and famines because they simply do not rot. While they take about 6 to 8 years to establish, a single carob tree is a 100-year investment in a sweet, calorie-dense future that requires almost no maintenance from you. Walnut trees, the black gold of the homestead. Walnut trees are the ultimate dual-purpose investment for any long-term food system, providing one of the hardest nutrients to secure in a self-sufficient lifestyle: healthy, calorie-dense fats. A single mature walnut tree can yield 50 to 80 pounds of nuts per year, which translates to a staggering 150,000 to 240,000 calories from just one tree. In a survival situation where meat and dairy might be scarce, these nuts become an essential pillar of your diet. Walnuts are nutritional powerhouses packed with omega-3 fatty acids and protein. Their natural design is a survivalist's dream. The hard shell acts as a protective container, allowing the nuts to stay fresh and edible for over a year without any refrigeration. Beyond the food, you are growing a literal inheritance. High-quality walnut timber is incredibly valuable, often worth thousands of dollars per tree once mature. While they require patience, taking 6 to 10 years to begin producing, they can live and feed your family for 150 to 200 years. By planting a walnut today, you are establishing a biological bank account that yields annual dividends in nutrition and a final massive payout in timber for your descendants. Oak trees, the ancient calorie factory. Oak trees are often viewed only as shade trees or sources of lumber, but for thousands of years, they were the primary calorie source for entire civilizations. Unlike many fruit trees that require constant pruning and care, the oak is a plant-and-forget survival system that produces a massive abundance of acorns. A single mature oak can drop anywhere from 200 to 1,000 pounds of nuts in a good year, providing a staggering volume of food for zero labor. While many people think acorns are inedible, they are actually nutrient-dense powerhouses filled with complex carbohydrates and healthy fats. Most varieties contain tannins that make them bitter, but a simple water-leaching process, something our ancestors mastered millennia ago, turns them into a mild, versatile flour. This acorn flour can be used for bread, porridge, or even a coffee substitute. The oak's true strength is its resilience. It is one of the hardiest trees on Earth, capable of withstanding storms, pests, and droughts that would wipe out a commercial orchard. While it takes 20 to 30 years to reach peak production, an oak tree is a true legacy species, often living for 200 to 500 years. When you plant an oak, you are not just planting a tree, you are creating a permanent, self-sustaining food forest that will feed your community for centuries after you are gone. The pecan tree, the ultimate calorie king. The pecan tree is far more than a landscape giant. It is a massive calorie factory standing right in your backyard. A single mature tree can produce between 200 to 400 pounds of nuts annually. Packed with healthy fats and essential proteins, one tree provides enough energy to sustain a small family during food shortages. What makes the pecan a survival champion is its natural shelf life. Protected by a thick, hardy shell, these nuts remain nutrient-dense for up to 2 years without modern refrigeration. Historically, indigenous people relied on pecans as a strategic resource because they are lightweight for transport, yet incredibly high in energy. While it requires patience, taking 7 to 10 years to fruit, the investment pays off for centuries. Pecan trees can live for 200 to 300 years, outlasting generations. By planting a pecan, you are not just growing food, you are establishing a biological inheritance. You are securing a permanent, self-sustaining food source that will feed your great-grandchildren long after you are gone. Building a food legacy is not about short-term gains. It is about shifting your mindset from a consumer to a producer. These trees, from the bread of the chestnut to the caloric wealth of the pecan, represent more than just calories. They represent true independence. While the modern food system relies on fragile supply chains and rising prices, a backyard filled with these survival giants stands as a permanent, self-renewing fortress against uncertainty. Remember, you do not need a massive orchard to start. Even planting just 1 or 2 of these legacy trees this season can change the future for your family. You are trading a little bit of space and patience today for a lifetime of security and a gift that will feed your descendants for a century or more. Which of these survival giants are you planning to plant first? Drop a comment below, and let's discuss the best varieties for your climate. If this guide changed the way you look at the potential of your own backyard, please subscribe and like the video. We are unearthing the self-sufficiency secrets that the modern world has tried to bury. Plant your future today. The next chapter of our survival guide will open soon.